Hello everybody, my name is Anton. Welcome to a brand new Let's Play series in Hearthstone 4 New Order. A series that people have been asking for a surprisingly long time on the American videos. We're going to now play as the West Russian Revolutionary Front way up here in the West and in the North actually as well. So, again, people have been asking this for a long time. I want to say like for the past almost like 50 episodes, if not longer, for the US stuff. So let us get started in here. The gay patriotic war against the fascist invader cost the Soviet people everything, and then some. The Nazis employed unimaginable cruelty in a crusade against Soviet civilization itself, to the extent where no single man or woman couldn't name someone close to them who had not been cruelly torn apart by the hands of the Hitlerites. In the muddled anarchy after the total collapse of the central government authority, the remnants of the Red Army in the West reorganized in the city of Koyoskev under the leadership of Grand Marshal Alexander Yegorov. Across the former territory Soviet Union, loyal Red Army units flocked to his banner, including the 6th and 9th Armies under Marshals Mikhail Neilovich Tuvdechki and Gregory Konstantinovich Zhukov, respectively. I'm going to butcher, again, it's just like the Mexican campaign, which is going to be resuming as well. A lot of name butchering is going to be happening, I apologize. With these powerful mechanized forces and an alliance with the prominent political figures, this newly formed West Russian Revolutionary Front was able to exert authority over all of the shattered remnants of the Union, which remained west of the Urals. In the late 1950s, with the Reich paralyzed by the deadliest economic crash in its history, and the Red Army only becoming more eager to avenge their defeat, Grand Marshal Yegorov decided that the time had come to launch Operation Sumarov, the liberation of all Soviet lands currently occupied by German forces. Despite Lazar Kanovich refusing to commit the forces of the West Siberian People's Republic to the operation, the Red Army's advance was swift and brutal. Stalingrad was liberated on day 28th of the operation, prompting an attempted coup by the SS under Heinrich Himmler. To provide infighting within the enemy's ranks, Red Army troops reached the outskirts of Leningrad and Moscow by day 40. Riding high on this wave of success, a few noticed the cracks that had begun to form within the front's political structure over the years. The exact cause of disintegration of the front during the West Russian War remains unknown, but with theories ranging from an attempted seizure of power by Sokolov to the breakdown of critically overextended command structures. Facing threats to the security of military leadership in the face of a renewed German offensive employing the collaborationist forces of the Russian Liberation Army and Vladimir Romanov, the government was relocated to the city of Skitsyskar. Following the political turmoil and the string of defeats at the hands of the enemy, the Republic of Komi seceded from the front, and a subsequent stirring of defections and secessions marked the end of the West Russian War, with the defeat of the West Russian Revolutionary Front. Or so the Germans thought. The front lives on, clinging on to life amongst the permafrost tundra around the embattled city of Arkhangelsk, with its generals bitterly divided after the catastrophic failure of Operation Suvarov. Marshals Mikhail Tuvdechki and Zhukov are widely considered to be the two potential successors in the event of Yurgov's untimely death. Tuvdechki is a somewhat eccentric officer who believes in the role of the Red Army as a primary driver of political change. A former noble that has turned against the conformity of his class to join the Bolsheviks in the Civil War, Tuvdechki has gained support from a number of elements within the front, who wish to avoid mistakes made by Bukharin and the return to the USSR to its former military glory and beyond. With every cog inside its machine turning towards one singular goal, every soldier marching towards final victory. Zhukov is a popular commander who has received fame and admiration among the men from the Civil War to Operation Zurov, leading to the liberation of Stalingrad together with Marshal Momietsky. While Zhukov was fiercely loyal to the communist cause, his clique has attracted the attention of some reform-minded figures such as Alexander Yakovlev and Nikolai Ryzhkov, along with many other the hardliners unaffiliated with Tuvdechki's faction, such as Sergei Akhmermeyev. Now, in 1962, the front situation is a precarious one. Beyond the territories controlled by Arkhangelsk lies statelets run by illegitimate secessionists, collaborators, czarists, and other contenders. Only time will tell if the front will regain its position as the defender of West Russia and potentially reunite the motherland to avenge those who fell and deliver justice upon Germany. So, I'm hoping that this campaign will be a little bit shorter than the United States one, because there shouldn't be as much content for West Russia as there for the United States. Of course, it is one of the more prominent, Russian tags. It should not be another 80 episode. If it's similar to when we played as the Black Army, it should be similar to probably like 30 episodes. I'm hoping. we are going to have Zhukov in charge, because we are going to be going down the Zhukov run, because that's what everybody's been asking for Zhukov, so that's what we're going to be doing here. Okay, we have low manpower, I understand that. And, you know, compared to the American playthrough, having technology is going to be substantially more important than, what are you? Hold acclamation factor? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Having modern technology is going to be significantly more important than the other stuff. So let's see. We have 8 divisions. I guess let's put you on the border with Kobe for now. It shouldn't really matter too much, since we aren't going to declare war, at least for a little bit. Okay. Let's get our Army Navy experience. We currently have 1 loot. Okay, do you remember there was like a looting mechanic? But again, it has been a while since we played in Russia. Years at this point. Currently, we got 0.7 political power. We're at negative 4% stability. We have 8 production units, so, you know, not a ton there. Okay, we don't really care about the Cold War too much. We currently have a CC credit rating. We're poor. 16% debt, 1.2% inflation. Deficit is at 13%, which is a pretty high, extremely high deficit. No naval expenditures, no nuclear expenditures. That makes sense. Thing is, we don't make money, right? We make 0.08 billion, which is what, $80 million, give or take. Is there any way we can really make more money now? I mean, right now we're printing money. So, I mean, that's really about it. Currently, our economy is situated. How is it situated? It's currently 1, 2, 2. We have 3 out of 8 production units available. Needed product consumer goods right now is currently at 10. Not great. Okay, so we're going to go with our first focus here. For our doctrine, we're going to ignore you. And you want transport planes, fighters, and close air support. Well, I appreciate that. It's not going to happen, at least not right now. The 4 national spirits, we have the Luftwaffe terror bombing, which is just terrible. This will go away once Germany enters civil war, which is going to be like November-ish of next year. But then all these penalties will go away at that point. Veterans of the Long War, so our units are actually pretty good. You know, extra army experience gain, 50% organization, better recovery, better attack. All that's quite nice. And agricultural insecurity, which is also fucking terrible. Regardless of legitimacy, military strength, or the quality of the front's leadership, farming in the desolate wastes of the Arctic Circle is not a viable pursuit. So we basically have not enough food, which is a shame. But, I mean, what else? What can we really do about that? Answer, I think, is, like, not too much. All our units are at the point where they need to be. What do we want to spend our civilian factories on? I mean, I don't even know. Like, everything, of course, is, like, bad. I guess we can go, like, with a hospital? Seems okay. Like, where would that be the most effective? In our Angeles. Okay, we get 90% coverage. I guess our country is pretty small, so I guess it makes sense that the numbers would be so large. So let's see if we can get you guys going. That'll be done in 5 years from now. So hopefully we can maybe build that a little bit faster. Some arbitrary point in the future. The one nice thing about being the West Russian Revolutionary Front, to my knowledge, and I would like to be corrected if I'm wrong on this, we are kind of the main socialist faction. So if, you know, let's say, you know, Irkutsk takes over, you know, half their part of the country, and I don't even know who else would be here. Maybe like the West Siberian People's Republic, they unify their part of the country, then we should be able to peacefully unify with a lot of the other Soviet tags. If we get to that point. And it also requires that they actually, you know, survive, which is not a, unfortunately, is not a guarantee. $385 million is their GDP. Currently have $64 million in debt. I mean, the ratio's not bad. We're just kind of really poor. Which, I mean, is fair. We are currently war communist as our economy right now, which is 10% factory output, extra construction speed, extra factory output. So, I mean, it's not bad. It's good to make equipment, which we do desperately need. Purchase Zlato's equipment. Due to our position within the Russian wasteland, we are able to make use of services of Zlatos. Is that one of these smaller states? Better raid to gather more loot. I actually have no idea where you are, but I mean, I wouldn't mind buying just equipment. We'll spend money on this. We get 1,000. What's our actual logistics right now? It's not terrible. It could be a lot worse. I guess we probably should buy stuff that we don't actually just produce ourselves. It's like, what are we actually making? Right now we're making basic infantry rifles and basic anti-tank. So we should actually buy like support equipment or artillery. Can't buy artillery because you don't have artillery available. Okay, well, I mean, that's fair, I guess. Prepare raids that requires 20 command power, which we don't have. I mean, I guess we'll just buy support equipment because we're not actually making it. That seems okay for now. We'll just make sure you actually have an offensive line in towards the Komi Republic. Not that I'm... Again, I don't know when we're actually going to declare war. Hey, the equipment has arrived. You can read this if you want. I don't think it's going to be that important because it's going to be one of those events we're going to get over time and time and time and time again. So we don't need to read all of it. It's basically saying like, hey, the equipment arrived. Very, very happy to see it. Oh, it's you. You are the one that's going to be giving the equipment. The Zelados Republic. I mean, I guess they're kind of funding everybody around them. I mean, if they actually require equipment in their stockpile, then that should mean, theoretically, that we can buy all of their guns. We've already doubled the debt. Oh god, the debt's already doubled. Let's go for more stability with you. Scavenge for loot for 15. It cost us money. You know what? We probably spent a lot of money building that, or buying those support equipment. So maybe that wasn't actually the greatest idea. The revolution's Northern Star. Through the Black 40s, we carried on. The Germans, in their arrogance, thought the Soviet Union broken, consigned to the dustbin of history. Throughout the decade, we plotted and prepared. Throughout Russia and Central Asia, men and women alike united for a great attempt to push back the fascists. In the West Russian War, the complacent Germans suffered defeat after defeat as the armies of the workers marched west. But at the height of our success, the Red Army was betrayed by our own people. Reactionary Russian dogs and Tsarist bootlickers helped the Germans turn back the tide and destroyed our overstretched front lines. Deep behind our line as well, revolt after revolt sprang up as the demagogues preached the end of the Soviet Union. Now the new nation forged in Lenin's revolutionary flame has been reduced to a few scraps of frozen land. Veterans of 20 years of endless warfare barely hold our possessions south of the Arctic Circle. Beyond our borders, dozens of warlords loot the ruins of Russia as the common people suffer in the Russian anarchy. We have lost contact with every other remnant of the Red Army, pushed back from their stations in Central Asia and Siberia. Within our borders, starving refugees barely have enough calories to maintain our rusting industrial sector. Military officers squabble with one another, deflecting this unity that proved fatal in the Soviet Union in the West Russian War. Through all this, the revolution endures. As the Northern Star shines above us, so must we provide internal guidance to the workers of Russia and beyond. The workers' liberation is inevitable, a force of history that cannot be arrested by tyrants and madmen. If we do not succeed, then the future generation shall remember our example. We will not stop fighting until either death or the day that the blood-red banner of socialism flies anew. Comrades, onwards. Hey, 75 political power. I'll definitely take that one. Is there anything I can spend this on? Yes, warlord development. So what are actually all of these buttons here for? War planning gives us, it actually just gives us command power. But I mean, stability's gonna go way down. We're already still -9. Any of you just give me stability. GDP goes up. We actually just make some money for less political power gain. Honestly, might be worthwhile. We get 1 production unit. Consumer goods goes down by 10%. Reconnect Soviet power grids for more power. Focus on research, which is research speed, which is basically, I think, garbage. Not really worried about you. Not worried. I mean, actually, 0.5 political power could be really good in certain circumstances. For 75 days, that is 10 weeks-ish. That's like 2% stability. Honestly, it's not that incredible. So you know what I want to do then is... let's get some industrial investments immediately. I'm not going to worry about war planning. I don't think that's going to be that important. How much? What do we gain on this? You know what? Let's secure control. Let's get a little bit more stability. I know I just said it wasn't that worthwhile, but stability is more permanent than political power is, so it probably still makes sense here. The modern Bogtir. Of all the tales of the Russian anarchy, there stands but one that has spread from the frozen lands of the Far East to the city of Kostroma in the West, and even deep in the lands of the Nazi Empire. The story of a wanderer from parts unknown, who brings justice to them as they walk those desolate roads of old Russia. This wanderer has come to be known as one of the great enigmas in all of Russia. Little is known about this enigma. Some report that they are a former ranger of the Euro Guard, a man who left his home to bring justice to the worst of Russia. Others tell tales of a former Weimar soldier, consumed by guilt and under self-imposed exile, as a penance of the people that he has wronged. A few scant reports tell of a widow from the destroyed villages, seeking to bring to others the justice she was denied. Whispers in the east speak of an American volunteer in the West Russian War, stuck in a land not his own, but still doing good where he wandered. And in the bars of the Siberian cities, one can always find strange and likely drug-induced tales of a man from the future come back to save the world. Whatever their true identity, and whatever their purpose in the corpse of the Soviet Union might be, all that is truly known is the kindness that they have shown to the people so used to violence and death. Tales are told of the wanderer holding off entire bandit raiding parties single-handedly, liberating the slaves from Perm to tell of an angel of light, freeing them from their shackles before disappearing into the night. The rumors have come even from Moscow as a one-man raids on Nazi strongholds. And while many of these deeds are undoubtedly fictitious, the actions of this hero, this modern-day Bogatar, have laid a fire of hope in the hearts of even the most trampled upon in Russia. I mean, that's nice to hear. I mean, it probably is nonsense, but sometimes people need some nonsense in their life. Okay, Assassin strikes at Hitler. That's fine. It's probably the Japanese guy. Like, a lot of, like, the big power players, United States, Germany, and Japan, we really don't care at all about the rest of the world, right? What happens in India? Who cares? What happens in South Africa? Not my business. Not my problem. I have so many more important things to deal with than what a bunch of other nonsense powers are doing. I just need to unify Russia. If we're lucky, maybe take Moscovin, but I don't know how likely that actually is going to be. I wouldn't put my hopes on it. Let's just put it that way. At least right now, I wouldn't put my hopes on it. We received an ultimatum from the anti-communist volunteer guard. They're demanding that we hand over a tribute of loot, or else they'll raid us and take it from us anyways. We're in an impasse to decide. Do we decide to engage in confrontation with the anti-communist volunteer guard, possibly risking our men dying at the hands of our enemy, or do we instead stand down and cave into their demands, giving them the desired loot, allowing our men to live to fight another day? So this is going to be for Onega. I'm going to station my troops here immediately. So we will not back down. Get all of our units over there immediately. Also make sure we turn off Fog of War. That was the wrong button. I mean, we don't need troop station on this front. So this is like the raiding minigame. I mean, if we're lucky, we can just get people to give us stuff. Also, how long does this actually last for? I don't quite remember. If we win, we get political power and stability. The enemy will lose political power, manpower. If we lose, 1% will happen. Onega will gain some stuff. But I can't just, like, give them loot. I need the loot. A mysterious encounter. Vasily sat in his guard post, rifle cradle under his shoulder. He gazed into the wilderness that separates the front from those lands under the control of the Vorkuta Gulag. He had been on the border for the last week, one of the few small regiments that guarded the flanks of the front. It would only have been a few hours until he would be relieved by his replacement. Looking back out over the Arctic lands, he could vaguely make out something in the distance. A gray speck moving over the tundra. Lifting his binoculars, he focused on the target. It was a person, dressed in what looked like an old uniform of some kind. They were well dressed for the weather, a heavy jacket, gloves, and some other winter gear. Their face was covered by a balaclava and a type of helmet he could not recognize. Slung across the man's chest was a rifle. One well taken care of, most likely fresh from the Zalotst. Vasily watched as the man got nearer, gripping his rifle tight. Finally, the man was within speaking distance, his hand held out to the side, away from his weapon. "Halt! What are you doing here?" The mysterious man spoke to them in broken, halting Russian. "I come with a warn. Bandit come from east. Many bandit. Plan attack tonight." Vasily could hardly understand the man. His accent was atrocious, but he understood enough. "What? Damn. All right, come up here, but don't do anything stupid." The man walked up the steps and walking into the guardhouse with his hands up. "Alert men, many bandits," the stranger said. Vasily was quick to get on the horn of the garrison, but they would be unable to send help until the next day. Vasily and the stranger readied the guardhouse as well they could, and could do no more than wait. When the garrison sent reinforcements the next day, what they found shocked them. Vasily slat, smoking on a stump outside. Bodies piled high in the field around the building. The stranger was nowhere to be found. Exceptional work, Comrade Vasily. So that is from you over here, led by Vasily. I mean, I guess it's a different Vasily. Or are you the same Vasily? I'm actually not too sure if you... I mean, they're both named Vasily, but who knows? Could be a completely separate dude. Can you guys get there, like, a little faster? Like, I understand that rail connections are not great. Yeah, first unit's going to arrive. Please get there, like, a little faster. Like, that's really all that I'm looking... Hey, okay, our unit has arrived. I mean, we are just better than they are, so that is a nice boon for us. Failure Barbarossa. Follow you up. I don't actually... Okay, we're going to turn you off for now, because I don't want to always be buying stuff. Prepare raid against the Komi Republic. You know, you guys actually just stay here for now. Keep you all back. Prepare raid against the Order of St. George. Against the Corrective Labor Camp. And we could build new stuff. Train new workers. Build new research facilities. All this, I mean, it sounds nice. We want to loot our opponents as much as we possibly can. But I think that at least for right now is going to be a good time for us to end this first episode. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoying, you can always subscribe, and goodbye.